Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's adventure is an overland truck camping right on the edge of a beautiful, massive, forever stretching coastal beach line. This spot is absolutely breathtaking. You guys can see the waves crashing in the background. It's cloudy, it's overcast, it's about -1, maybe -2 degrees Celsius, and it is starting to snow. No idea what's gonna happen. Well, we've got the tent set up, I've got the diesel heater set up, so as far as I'm concerned, it can rain, it can snow, it can be windy, and it wouldn't matter. We're gonna be nice and warm and very, very comfortable here in this scenic location. So, I was gonna do a hot tent. This location is not giving it up easy. It's gonna be very difficult to set up a hot tent, so I decided just to use the truck camper, pop it up, very, very simple. I would like to do an outside campfire, somewhere's over here for in the evening, staring out at the ocean, having a drink or so, and I would like to cook up some incredible food. So, got a lot to do, got a lot of things to accomplish, but first, we're gonna start with hot coffee. All right, guys, so chilling out on the edge of a $1 million view right now, enjoying coffee right on the edge of this beautiful beach. Absolutely incredible today. The vibes are hitting pretty good. So this cup of hot coffee is quickly cooling off because the temperatures are actually starting to come down. It is currently snowing. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it is actually snowing. And the wind gusts have been coming in a little bit stronger. The waves are getting bigger. And one thing I did not even consider to think about, because when I drove in here, it was spectacular. Never really thought about it, and yes, I camp on shores a lot, so I am experienced. But today, I didn't think about the tide. The tide's out right now. It's on its way in. I don't know how high the high tide's gonna come. It's still winter. These tides are very unpredictable. Looking right where I'm at, there's a ton of seaweed up here. Sure, it could be from the wind, but just looking at the rocks and the way it's crashing up high, the rock line is actually really, really close to the truck. Not this bit of a cobbled bar that I'm on. I'm looking down the beach, and the tide actually looks like it's going to come up to the truck. I don't really want to risk that. At the same time, I'm not really sure if it's going to come up that high. So, before I do anything drastic, like move the truck, which is going to be the only option, I would like to enjoy my coffee. So I'm going to go for a little bit of a walk on the beach, enjoy my coffee, do a little bit of thinking. If I do move the truck, I don't have to pack the tent up because I'm only going to move it about 50 yards. Right behind the camera, there's a nice little patch of forested area. It's flat, it's away from the wind, it's a little bit sheltered, and there's a ton of firewood in there. So if I do move the truck, I don't have to haul all the firewood over here by hand. I can just go and camp over in a forested area. So let's enjoy our coffee, go for a little bit of a walk, and then make a decision. All right guys, just get back from my walk with my coffee, and I made the decision that I am going to move the truck. Now I never ever do this. Usually when I park the truck, that's it, that's where I'm staying. But as I walk up and down the beach, I'm seeing more and more signs that the tide could push, and it's actually supposed to be a full moon tonight or tomorrow night, or maybe last night, I don't know. But right now is going to be a full moon cycle basically, so the tide is going to come up higher than normal. So I'm going to make the decision to just drive 50 yards this way, back up off the beach. I'm going to leave the tent set up, the diesel heater set up, and everything on except for the ladder, of course, and hopefully everything will go well. Just going to crawl off the beach, back up towards the forest, get situated, and see how that looks over there. Alright guys, so I've got the truck relocated. It's actually a little bit more level over here, and there's no breeze. I mean, there's a slight breeze, but there's no wind, I should say. And I'm very close to Firewood, so there's too many pros in moving it than cons. And honestly, I just slept on a really windy, rainy, freezing cold coastline last night. The video before this, so go and check that out. So this is actually going to be a little bit of a nice break off of the ocean. I could still go, it's 50 yards away, it's not even that far. But with all the snow that is starting to come in, it's going to be time to get cooking and get a fire going. So I'm going to start with firewood prep and then roll into cooking. We'll see what this weather does. All right, guys, I got to take a break from doing firewood for a few minutes. This wood that grows on the coast in my area, and probably everywhere else in the world realistically, it's a softwood, and it grows stunted because it's here on the coast being hammered with salt spray and water and wind. It grows very, very small but incredibly dense. Picture cutting the hardest hardwood and they take all the knots that are in spruce and pine and add that to the hardwood. That's what it's like trying to cut this stuff. So splitting it is just so time consuming and laborious. I've given up. I collected a whole bunch of branches. We're gonna feed those in as whole rounds and basically just get the fire going with branches. I am gonna try and cook on the campfire, but right now I'm just gonna take a break, get some fresh water for the dogs so they can have a nice drink, and then I'll be back to splitting some wood. All right, so just coming over to where I drove through earlier on today to get onto the main beach. This is a freshwater lake with a river that feeds into the ocean. So, pretty awesome spot to get some fresh water. And I have camped here before. I probably should mention that. Probably about 3 years ago, I did a camp right here and I loved it. It was awesome. I think it was in wintertime as well, and the area was a little bit different then, but yeah, it's nice to be back. Definitely awesome. So let's get some fresh water for the dogs. All right, so water dish full. Just thinking back on when I camped there, I don't remember if I camped there in a vehicle, whether it was the Jeep, the truck, or the other truck, or if I just did a tent camp. I can't remember. If anyone remembers, drop it down in the comment section and let me know, because I do remember having fun on that adventure, but I can't remember what I camped in. I can't remember what kind of video it was. So yeah, let me know. Drop it down in the comment section, and I'm gonna get this water to these guys back at the truck now, and I gotta get the fire going. I'm just gonna grab all those twigs, throw a fire starter in there, start it, and I'm gonna try and cook on the fire, guys. The snow is letting up right now, but I'm not gonna fall for it because every time it does, it comes back. So let's get to work. Okay guys, I've got the campfire going and a lot of this wood is really punky and wet. So I'm having to make a big mound of all the logs and all the firewood so it can dry out. So we're gonna need quite a hot, large fire in order for it to keep going and in order to throw some heat. This is gonna have to burn down momentarily while I cook. So trying to plan ahead and getting this wood nice and dry so we can get to that stage. It is going to be smoky for quite a while, but once this stuff dries out, it'll really start to burn nice and clean. The snow is coming in off and on, and I know a lot of people are probably thinking, how come I don't have the awning on the truck open? The biggest reason for that is once that gets wet with either snow or rain, it's going to freeze, and it's going to be impossible to pack up, which means it's going to be this gigantic mess trying to get it in the bag and zipped. It's just not going to work. So unfortunately, this time of year, it's just not even worth it. It's a little bit of wetness, a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain drizzle. I'll dry off from the fire and I could dry off from the diesel heater later on tonight. So the main focus right now is get this fire going and established and then start cooking. All right guys, supper's all finished up with, and as you can see, it is full on snowing out here. So a really good choice of pulling back off of that beach and coming over here and yeah, just enjoying a little bit of the winter wonderland, which is supposed to be springtime, but you never know what you're going to get for weather, right? So I've got all of my firewood in the pit right now. I've got the dogs up top of the rooftop tent, and they're fed, they've had water, they're getting nice warm and dry, and this smoke, whew, is unbearable at times. Sitting close to the fire, I'm just trying to warm up a little bit. I'm not too sure what this is going to look like in the morning. I don't know what the forecast is. I don't have any cell phone service or anything like that, so I can't even check the weather network. But I can look and I can see it's snowing. So I'm going to assume it's going to continue snowing, and it's going to be this wet, heavy springtime snow, which is never fun to drive in if there's a lot of it. You know, you're going to be digging holes and whatnot. So I'm just going to sit here for a few more moments, soak in some of this warmth, and then I'm going to pack everything up inside of the truck because it's going to continue to snow, and I don't want anything lost in the snow. Tomorrow morning I can just unpack things to make coffee and all that fun stuff. I may even just do it up top on the rooftop tent. Who knows? But yeah, I'm just going to take the evening from here, see what the snow does, see what this wind does, and kind of enjoy it. Alright guys, up inside of the rooftop tent, changed into some dry, warm clothes. We've got this tent rocking very, very, very warm right now, the diesel heater. Everybody was just itching to get up here and get warm and get into bedtime mode. So flint and steel are down at my feet, Boomer's right up here drying out. We've got the diesel heater on, like I said, and let me give you guys a look at what outside looks like. It is a whiteout out there. The snow is starting to dissipate, but it's definitely there. So the snow outside is starting to stop, but that's not accurate because it's going to keep doing it. It's been doing it for the last hour. It starts and then it stops, and then it starts and then it stops. So my clothing were completely soaked. Yes, I brought snow pants, I brought rain jacket, I brought all kinds of different kinds of gear for weather, but I'm just not interested in digging in the truck, grabbing it, finding it, putting it on, and then having it wet along with my other wet clothes. It's almost nighttime. It's going to be getting very dark very, very soon. The temperatures have come down. It's now -5 degrees Celsius out there. Plus there's a wind chill. Plus it's wet. It's just nasty out there to be in the open. Now, I did plan on using a hot tent today. Unfortunately, that plan didn't come. And, well, here we are in the rooftop tent again. Looking over in this forest, I could have put a hot tent in there, but it's just so wet. The ground is so soft and just not, it wouldn't be fun. It would not be fun at all. The dogs would be covered in mud. We would be sitting in mud. It would just be horrible, especially when you get the stove rocking and the tent gets hot. It would be awful. So coming out here off the beach over to where we are now was a good choice. We had all the firewood out there. The campfire was very nice. Those burgers were insane. And yes, I did wash my hands. I have to mention that right now. People are going to say, oh my God, he didn't wash his hands raw. Me, yes, of course I washed my hands. I also move the camera by myself and do a lot of things off camera. So yes, my hands were washed before and after and during, all the time. Eating those burgers, those things were massive. They were probably a pound each. I had made 4, probably, I want to say the other ones were maybe half pound, maybe a third pound. They were big, they were heavy. The burger binder, that the cheddar and jalapeno it was the cheese and the jalapeno burger binder. That stuff is incredible. That and the double, was it double or triple? I think it was a double brie. I have triple brie down in there, but I think I used the double brie cheese on the burger with shredded cabbage and onions, which were a little bit cold because they didn't get fried. Those 2 burgers, I ate them. I am absolutely disgustingly stuffed. I'm not going to be eating anything for the rest of the evening, and I didn't eat at all today. So that was my entire meal. Camping on the beach yesterday in the video before this, I had a really, really good meal there as well. And then here, another good meal. Tomorrow, I'm going to be heading to another location to check out, to do another overnighter. That'll be a separate video. And I'm really looking forward to that one because it's in an area that I haven't been to in a very long time. And I've got plans. If I can get the hot tent out tomorrow, I'm going to try my best on a different camp out to try and get that out because I brought 2 of them with me. So for the rest of the evening, dogs are all asleep right now. I'm just here rambling to you guys, and yeah, it's movie time. So I'm going to pop on a movie on my phone, and I'm just going to probably fall asleep early because it's going to be an early morning, and this is only day 2 out of what is supposed to be 7 days or plus. So I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Just wanted to give you a little bit of an update, and I'll see you first thing in the morning for coffee. Good morning, everybody. It is a winter wonderland out here. We got snowed on, we got rained on, and everything froze overnight, just as I predicted. So it's a good thing we did not open up this awning because the entire case is crusted with ice. The entire tent is encrusted in ice. It is just a globe of ice out here. Everything's got this crust layer to it, which is pretty cool, even the truck. So having some hot coffee this morning is going to be the goal first of all. First, before anything else happens, hot coffee, which is slowly cooling down. So one thing I did notice is my fire maple pot lid fits so satisfyingly on top of my fire maple cup. I don't know if they designed it that way. Chances are probably not, but it fits. So that's keeping my coffee a little bit warm. It's taken me over a year to figure that out. I'm a little slow to the show, but this morning is looking great. It is very, very finely raining right now. So the temperature has come up. It was -5 degrees Celsius last night at one point. The wind started pushing in, the snow turned to freezing rain. The tent and truck was rocking. So I think I made a good choice on getting off to the beach because it's windy out there. The waves are crashing. It looked gorgeous out there. But it would have been a really, really nasty night with all that ocean spray and all the ice and snow. It just wouldn't have been that fun. So, coffee on the go right now. I've got to get the dogs fed as well because they're looking for some breakfast. And then I really do want to pack this tent up. I just shut the heater off. It's really important to get that packed up quickly while the heat's still in there before everything starts to freeze, and it makes it that much more difficult. So, let's get some dog food out and pack up the tent. Alright guys, I've got the tent taken down and this ladder is just completely encrusted in ice. I don't think it's going to want to collapse. I think if I bang most of it off, we'll probably get it broke down to maybe 3 sections. I don't know, let's see what happens. If not, I'm going to have to pack it in the back of the truck. Yeah, that does not want to go. Oh, there we go. Everything is frozen. Now you watch, I'll get it packed up. I'll head to my next camp spot and I won't be able to get it undone. I'll have to throw it in the truck or in the tent and let it thaw out. I think I'll do one more section maybe. This is the challenge with winter camping in these locations, but it's also the fun. You gotta be a very specific person to enjoy this. Because if you don't, you're not gonna have fun at all. And that's the fun of it, is not knowing. The whole ladder's packed up, but like I said, I think I'm gonna ride with that in the cab, maybe put it in the back, and then I can crawl up on the truck when I get to my next camp later today, throw that in the tent, thaw it out, and then it'll work. But you've got to be a very specific type of individual to find this enjoyable. And I mean, I'm soaked, I'm frozen, and I'm still having fun. This is a lifestyle. It's not something you do, it's who you are. So being out here in this wilderness area, sure it's cold, sure it's wet, but you know what? There's nobody bothering me. This is awesome. So I'm gonna get all of this packed up into the truck. I'm gonna wrap this video up right here. You guys know that there's an episode before this, which was yesterday in real time, and there will be an episode after this, which will be later today in real time. So thank you guys very much for joining me. I'll see you in the next spot.